Hello, Sabi.
Certainly.
First, I would like to introduce myself, and then maybe you can introduce yourself. My name is Serena, and I'm an official sworn translator of Russian, Dutch, and I also teach foreign languages such as Russian, Spanish, and English, and also Dutch for foreigners as a second language. And I have a translation agency and a language school, Tsarina Translations and Language School. And officially, I am a maritime engineer and I teach maritime English and business English in order to prepare people for job interview.
Okay.
And now I would like you to introduce yourself.
My name is Sabi, but everybody calls me Sabi. Please call me Sabi. Um, I'm originally from India. I live in the Netherlands for the last 11 years. I came to the Netherlands to study here at the University of Amsterdam, masters in business economics.
Wow.
After that, I'm working for ABN AMRO now over 9 years and a half years. Besides working in the bank, I have my side hustle where I give trainings and workshops on storytelling, on how to pitch, and also I do keynote speeches on topics on change and innovation. Last year, I wrote my first book. What's your plan B? You can see it right here by here.
Wow.
My
Yeah.
first book, What's Your Plan B, which was very nice and rewarding experience for me. Um, my hobbies, public speaking is one of my biggest hobbies. I really enjoy that. I do enjoy. I've recently developed a hobby of sketchnoting. I like sketching and stuff. I enjoy learning something new, so whether it's a musical instrument or music, but I'm not very proficient at that. Definitely enjoy hanging out with friends, and I'm a TV junkie. I love watching TV. I love watching TV shows and series.
Ah, thank you. So the first question would be, what made you choose to come to the Netherlands?
Um, in 2010, I was working in India. 2009, actually, first time I went out of India for a stint for a few months to Singapore, and I just was so amazed. I wanted to see how the world looks outside India, and my brother was living in the Netherlands, and he was a very big endorsee and still is an endorsee of the Netherlands, and he was like, you should come here, study here. It's really a great country and everything. So 2010, I decided to move to the Netherlands. I also got a full scholarship from the University of Amsterdam. So I wanted to do masters basically, and UVA accepted my application and also gave me a scholarship, which was really cherry on the cake. And yeah, that was there was no looking back.
Yeah, and how did your brother come here?
He came for his job. He was working for a consulting company. He got a relocation from India to the Netherlands.
Okay, it's nice. So you already had some starting point
Yes,
here.
that
Yeah.
definitely helps a lot.
And how do you fit in the new country and culture?
Well, initially it was difficult. I have to say, I think the first 3 years were difficult because it is a very different country where people are very different. I mean, I studied when I was studying at the UVA, the locals will still address each other and us as colleagues and not friends, which was very different from how we would address people you're studying with in India. They will announce they're having a birthday party with friends, but never think of inviting because they really friends is really a very holy. Not everybody is your friend. That was a bit of a struggle, and it's hard not to take instances like that personally when you're an expat and you come from a very different overtly affectionate country where everybody becomes your friend and family in one meeting. So that was a struggle, I have to be honest. But I think so the first few years were definitely I made more my friends who were expats or Indian origin. That was my friend circle. But from 2013 onwards, I don't know if something changed. Probably in my way of looking at the at Netherlands and people, and also setting expectation. I think I made so many good friends and local friends, and yeah, I just felt like Netherlands became home.
Nice, nice. And tell me about your biggest challenge you had to deal with in the Netherlands, and how did you adapt?
Getting used to the lunch. Oh my God, that's still something I frown upon.
What?
Uh,
Why?
Lunch wise, I can't believe people enjoy a bread, a little butter on it, and some cheese, and they have that's what they call lunch. Lunch is very holy for me. I mean, right now because of the lockdown, I enjoy a nice warm lunch. I have a light dinner, but a warm lunch is the way to go. Uh,
Hmm.
and there it's like bread and cheese, and that's it. And I still struggle with it. I mean, um, whenever somebody invites me for lunch, I'm like, oh my God, I have to eat bread today. Okay, that's still a little bit of a struggle. I'm not a big fan of cold lunches. So yeah,
And how long are you already have you already been living here?
over 10 years,
10
close to
years.
11.
Yeah. So you still haven't got used to lunch.
No,
And what do you normally eat for lunch?
it really depends. I mean, I personally prefer something but rice, um, rice or uh, meat or something like that. I mean, depends on the day, it depends on the mood, but it has to be substantial. It has to be large portion, and it
Mhm.
has to be warm.
Okay, yeah, I know this. And can you tell me about a specific thing you had never done before,
Before I came to the
except
Netherlands,
except of lunch? Yeah,
I think
before you
the
came.
thing is, especially coming from India, where labor is very cheap, you have help all around you. So when I was in India, when I lived with my parents, or I lived in Mumbai with my brother, and then alone. I, for example, never had to do the dishes. I always had a help who would come in the morning and afternoon and do
Mm.
the dishes, vacuum the house, mop the house, clean the stuff. So I had a whole army of people. You just snap your finger, you get all the help you want. People cook for you. Here you have to do everything by yourself. You have to cook, you have to clean, you have to do the dishes yourself. Um, when I lived first in Utrecht, we didn't have a dishwasher, so it was really a new thing to do. These things are small, but if you're not used to it, it is really it feels very difficult, because before I moved here, when I moved here I was 24, and before that I had never even washed a single cup in my life, or a spoon. This was the first time I'm doing it. uh,
Wow. And
that was
did you have servants? Sorry.
helpers. Let's call them helpers.
Okay. Yeah, you wanted to say something?
No, so that was, I think, definitely a thing that I never done before. And here you have to do everything yourself.
Mm.
That took some getting used to for me.
But now you got used to it, or you're
Yeah,
still?
yeah, yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
I got used
Okay.
to it. I mean, I'm managing my own household, and anyways, so you learn it. It's something. It's on the job learning thing.
Yeah, but you probably before in India you lived with your parents, so they also did everything for you. No?
Yes.
Yeah. So it's a big difference to live on your own. Yeah.
Absolutely, certainly. You learn so much about yourself, money, responsibilities. Now you have the like. When I would have parties, I would be very cautious of how messy the house is getting, or because next day I have to clean up. So you're more aware. You make more adult choices, and you suddenly think, "Oh my God, when did I become this adult?" Because all my life I thought, when I have my own house, I'm going to party till like 6 a.m. in the morning or all night. And now I'm like, no, 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 I need to sleep. I need to, okay, not nobody goes to this side. Like, I'm doing everything my parents would do when I was a kid. I'm like, okay, this is probably what responsibility teaches you.
Yeah. Yeah. And describe a situation in which you embraced the Netherlands, the language, and people.
A situation.
Yeah, the situation, and the situation also, which was a major departure from the old way, or how you did things in your old country.
Um, I think this day I started updating my calendar in Google Calendar and started keeping an agenda. I think that was, I think, 6, 7 years back when at some point I thought, you know what, I need to have a calendar because before that I never had a calendar. I would never write down appointments on calendar, and I used to make fun of people who would write down in diaries and mobile phone. If you ask them, hey, are you free for a coffee tomorrow? Like, let me check my calendar. Like, come on, seriously. And now I'm exactly like that. And it's also, it actually feels lighter to write it down in a calendar because it's like your virtual secretary. You have everything written there.
Mm.
So you just I'm also like I color coordinate everything there. um
Mm.
so it's I think that was definitely a moment when I felt, oh my god, I've integrated, because that's one of the biggest need in the Netherlands. Without this habit of maintaining a calendar in a structured way, I don't think anybody can really do much.
No, it's you're right. Yes, and describe a situation in which you were embarrassed.
In the Netherlands,
Yeah.
trying to think.
And how did you handle the situation? What was the outcome? What? Yeah.
Embarrassed
And
because I of the of something I did, and what people expectations were.
exactly. Yeah. Yeah.
There are so many. I'm really trying to think what could be. I think they're not embarrassing, but I was always a very generous birthday gift giver. So whenever I had a good friend's birthday, I would really go out of my way to like buy gifts, expensive presents. And I realized that most people do not like that because they feel the pressure to reciprocate. And I think that's something I felt like, I was expecting like this big smile and like almost crying. Instead, I saw some bit like, whoa, this is too much. You didn't have to do that
Mm.
much. That was sometimes I felt like, gee, they can't, like, what's wrong? But I understand now that they are like, okay, shit, now I have to reciprocate this. And I think that's a common feeling people have a lot.
Yeah. The people have a feeling that they need to get to you back. They need to give you something back. And maybe it's if your present is so big, then they are feeling obligated to give it
Mhm.
back. And then here, of course, everybody has what he needs, and so much that if you give some expensive present, the person thinks, why what does he think? I cannot buy it myself. I
I,
think so.
I mean, that hasn't happened because I'm a good storyteller, so it will be in a story and everything. But I do see people feeling like frowning, like now I have to reciprocate this.
Hmm. Yeah, it's a pity. I would like that.
Yeah, me too. You have no idea what kind of presents I get on my birthday. So
Yeah. And what for presents did you give to people, for example?
uh,
I'm just curious.
yeah, it's like it depends on who likes what. I mean, I think the most common presents I've got for a lot of friends is cufflinks, because I really personally love wearing cufflinks. I think it's very very an amazing accessory men can wear. So cufflinks, ties, and stuff. I do like to get them that kind of accessory for a lot of friends.
Yeah, okay. And describe a time when you felt stressed or overwhelmed, and how did you handle it?
Stressed, I think definitely 2013, when I had a contract with ABN, a temporary contract, and that was not extended, and I was out of work for a month, which means that with a non-EU visa, a non-EU passport, your time is really limited. You will be kicked out soon. So it was like a ticking time bomb, and
Mm.
I had to like really find something really fast and quick, which was not easy at that point to do.
And did you find something?
ABN AMRO recalled me and hired me back. But
Oh,
that month was extremely difficult. I was almost on the verge of packing my bags and going back to India. it was extremely stressful period for me. 2013. I mean, if you know the financial Dak Plus, the FD, they did a story on this on my in November last year.
Oh, really? Maybe you can send me the article.
Yeah,
You don't
yeah,
have?
I can look it up. You need an FD account. I mean, just or Google it, you'll find it.
Okay, I will try to find it. And um, another question, what was the biggest misconception the natives have about you, and why do they think that?
Mm. I think I think there were few. I think few of them were there. I think one of the misconception people find about people from Indian background, they are very shy and not the biggest chatter. I'm exactly opposite. I talk a lot. I'm not shy by any definition. I'm somebody who loves to talk, express, and I'm not uncomfortable to go to a stranger and talk. So I think that was a myth. I think the second myth was that Indians are not punctual. They are always late. And I'm quite a sticker of time. I'm very very punctual. I can give a German run for his money with the punctuality, and my entire family is my mom, dad, brother, my grandfather, everybody like a really punctual. But I think I'm the most punctual among them. Even they tell me sometimes to go easy, especially my brother. But yeah, I think people underestimate. People think it's very generic. It is true in India. It's hard to be punctual because the traffic is so unpredictable. It is impossible to be, but I still manage there to be on time. See, the thing is, you can never be humanly anywhere on time. Either you are before time or you're after time. It's the choice you make. So so definitely one thing I factor in, and I think that's one of the misconceptions about Indians and in India that people have. Not everybody is impunctual and not everybody is shy.
Okay, but here you are definitely in the right country to be punctual.
No, I think even the
Oh,
Dutch are not that punctual.
sorry, what did
I
you?
don't think the Dutch are also punctual. I think
Oh
the only
no.
country where I felt like, oh my God, I'm home, everything happens by the second is Japan. When I was in Tokyo, I felt like this is my country. Everything is like super on time.
Oh,
Like I think the especially like the metro and the trams and everything, sometimes I mean they're not late like by half an hour or 1 hour, but even this 2-3 minutes can make a difference when you have a connecting train in 5 minutes and the train
mm.
is late by 5 minutes. You just miss it. I get so angry. um, but yeah, I mean it's more punctual than India for sure. It's more punctual than Spain and
Yeah. Germany. In Germany, they are all also very punctual. Maybe more than in the Netherlands. But Japan, I have never been there.
Japan
So
is another level. I think I have not seen something more punctual than Japan. They are so disciplined, so on time. I think I felt like really home in Japan.
oh, okay, nice. Maybe you have to search for a job in Japan and then
Well,
study Japanese.
punctuality is just one of the things that make me feel at home in a country, but there are other things that Netherlands offers for which I live here and I feel home here as well.
Okay, it's good to hear. Yeah. And tell me about the time when you were communicating with the Dutch and they didn't understand you. And what did you do?
That never happened. I mean, most people in Netherlands speak good English. Most of them speak good English. Most of them um, are open to having a dialogue. I mean, see, the thing is, they have insisted and motivated me to learn Dutch so that I integrate better. More opportunities open up for me, and it's also a good thing to learn a language. But it has never been that they didn't understand me. I mean, in my work in a bank, people are very well qualified, well educated. It's also at Toastmasters. People are eager to speak also in English. I almost never had that situation, and
Yeah. Mhm.
very rarely. I still remember one instance when 2010. I was the business before Google Maps. I was going somewhere in Spau, and I lost my way. And I asked. There was a man standing. Where do I go? I showed him the address. He didn't speak English at that point, but he read the address, and he pointed me like, linksaf, twee linksaf. I mean, I'm just trying to remember what he said. But even if I did not understand what he was saying, and he didn't understand, he, with his body language and his eagerness to help me, made it up for it.
So you have never had a situation when you said something in Dutch and you were meaning different things, or the people?
Oh, in Dutch, yeah, that happens. I mean, I make mistakes. I mean, I don't speak a Dutch a lot, but I make mistakes. But I have good friends and colleagues who applaud me for my attempt and then correct me as well. But it has never been an issue.
Okay, it's good. You're lucky.
Definitely.
Yeah. And tell me about your favorite experiences in the Netherlands.
I think definitely. I think 2015, 14, 15, when I was representing Netherlands as a Toastmaster division, there was Netherlands was one division at the European contest, and the whole Dutch group was rooting and cheering for me. There were 400 people, and there was like 70 or 50 to 70 Dutch people, but they were the loudest when I was entering the stage. They were like rooting for me. I was like their blue-eyed boy. And when I won the contest at the European finals in Porto, there was just like so much love I received from Netherlands and
Oh,
all over. I think that would definitely stays in one of my most happiest moments in this country. Um, Second would be definitely when I bought my own apartment. That was also 2014. First time I have a house in my name, apartment in my name in Amsterdam. That too in the center. Um, and one of my friend once said, "Happiness is not real unless you have people to share it with." I am so lucky I had that group of friends. I mean, my family was here, but still I had so many friends who were there at that point of time to support for me. One of my best friends and like a mentor to me, also a Dutch person, Rainier, he was there with me at the signing to just be there for me and mentally support me. One of my best friend, Cora, she drove my entire trains were not running. She drove my family from Utrecht to Amsterdam. Cora and another friend, Victoria, came over next day with presents for me. And so did Eric. All these friends were like constantly um, like they were equally happy for me that I'm buying the house, and that really made a huge difference. And I'm lucky in that sense. I'm very fortunate to have amazing friends. Also, last year when my book was published, I had 140 people who joined the event online. It was because of the COVID restriction, but the amount of love I got that time from my friends, also from my employer, also from media. I mean, Telegraph did a whole story about the book in one page story in their newspaper. Two leading newspapers doing a story about me on the face. It was very overwhelming. So get so much love, affection from people, complimenting people who read the book, also complimented people who didn't read the book, were happy that I tried this. I think these three definitely stand out as the most happiest moments in the Netherlands. And for me.
wow, very nice. And these people are really living the life with you. And are these people Dutch, your friends, or they are from different nationalities?
Uh, uh, Different nationalities, but the ones I mentioned, like Rainier, Cora, Eric, they are Dutch.
Dutch. They're Dutch.
They
Yeah.
are they these. I mean, I'm trying to think, but like I also have international really close friends like Tamash and Inka, um, but also really close Dutch friends who. I mean, at some point, it doesn't matter if they're Dutch or non-Dutch. What matters is they have really good heart and they are. I mean, I've worked with people, Mike and all, but they just become like.
Mhm. It's, it's funny because the next question was describe the best Dutch partner or Dutch friend you dealt with.
I cannot name one. I have to name few. I think the first one I will definitely name is Renier. I mentioned him a couple of times.
Mhm.
He's he's like a big brother to me. He's like a mentor to me. He's unconditional love, affection, and for me, whenever I've needed. He's the first Dutch friend I made. I can say this, like the first friend whose house I could go sleep a lot, sleep and party and everything. Even now, with he has children and all, I can call him and ask. questions, and he's always available for me. Him, then Eric, another friend I made at that period of time, 2013. I can call Eric and say like, bro, this shelf has broken, or I need to fix this window, and he's gonna come with all the tools just to help me. Always there for me whenever I need it. Extremely happy when I achieve something, or selflessly happy for me. Then Cora, I also mentioned her. She's really one of the biggest support system I have in this country. Always there for me through thick and thin. Um, One of those friends who's going to tell you very bluntly on your face when you're right, and tell you also when you're wrong, and extremely supportive. Have knows how to motivate me when I'm feeling low. At work, also some really close friends. Mike, again, like a mentor figure, always there for me through thick and thin, supporting me um, every endeavors I do. Lars, um, first friend I made at work, and we sometimes don't speak for months, but whenever if it's a crisis, will be jump to my help. And of course, my neighbor Marion, she's just outstanding. We can, like, within the curfew, I can call her at 9 and say, like, you know you want to, like, just have a coffee together, and she'll jump in, and yeah.
So what part of their character appealed to you the most? What they help you, or just because they say everything what they think, or what?
I think they are curious. They have asked me many questions about India, certain practices, certain principles that I have coming from India. They asked me. They have never tried to uh, they like to be treated equally, and they treat everybody equally, including me. They're very good people, very kind people. They're actually also very ambitious people. I think that's also something very nice. And I think these are people not just nice to me, they're nice to other people as well. I think they are generally good people who have good heart. That's one of the things that appeal to and funny thing is, I'm one of their to many of them, I'm the only non-Dutch friend they have, and they like, I'm the one window to the expat world for them sometimes, I feel. But they're extremely, like, accepting. They ask me questions about India. They want to know about all the festivals I have, and in a very curious, sweet way, which is very enduring.
Nice. But how did you meet them?
Um, Through university, I met a few of Amsterdam, like Daniel and Florian. Then Toastmasters was really a big place where I met all these amazing people. So Rainier, Cora, Eric, uh, Jan, Peter, Gilbert, everybody from Toastmasters. Um, and then also ABN AMRO, where I work. So fantastic colleagues, friends I made there. And also my building and my neighbors.
Yeah, your
So
neighbors.
everywhere I have been in, also I'm a member of Rotary Club there as well. Like every place I have ventured into, I made really good friends. I'm very lucky in that sense.
You're a very lucky person. I see that.
I'm extremely fortunate, and I'm very, very lucky. I have their love and blessings.
Hmm. And tell me about something you really miss from your own country.
Food,
Food.
definitely food.
Mhm.
Um, I think quickness. I think India is a very swift country, especially Mumbai. If you want to get things done, you can get it at a snap of a finger. You pay money, you get things done. Um, Here, I think the bureaucracy sometimes is very difficult to cut through. You don't cut the ice, because if I'm ordering a lamp and I said, you know what, I don't care how much money it needs, but I want it tonight, make it happen. They're like, sorry, sir, you're only going to get it next week. There's nothing I can do. There's not any amount of money you can pay by which you can get it today. Sometimes that's a little annoying, because in Mumbai, they're like, okay, you want it today, but you have to pay extra. I'm like, done, but I want it in the next hour in my house.
Wow.
We'll make it happen. I miss that let's make it happen attitude sometimes. It's
Hmm.
really procedural.
Oh, I learned here a lot about your country too. And describe a time when you applied for a job and how did it go?
Um, do you want to know a good experience or a bad experience?
Both, both.
I think the good experience is definitely the time when ABN AMRO recalled me. I was, like I said, 1 month out of contract, and I got a call. I got a LinkedIn message from my one of the directors, and she said, "Come to the bank, and we need to talk." And I went there, and I'm having the chat with my hiring manager. He doesn't know me very well, and then a very senior person walks in and he says, "Oh, you're Sabi. I know you. I've seen you in the lift many times." Okay, I made my decision. uh,
Wow.
so you realize that the impact that you can create in these small talks at lift and the elevator, or at the cafeteria and everything. And also work-wise, we interacted a few times, but you create an impression, you create a mark where people remember you, recall you, and even reward you at times when you need it the most. I think that's the beauty of this kind of situation. I
Hmm.
think the bad will be definitely in that period as well, when I think I had a great interview, 2 hour at a different company. I thought I'm going to get the job. The feedback was positive and everything, and the lady later said that you oversold yourself, and she gave the feedback to the recruiter. I was pretty heartbroken.
Wow, but what did you say during the interview?
All the right things, I guess. I said all the right things. I was very positive. I think the meeting was very well. There was nothing that could have gone wrong. It was like a really good fit, I felt. And I asked for a feedback. This is what the feedback I got verbally at the end of the meeting. So I was very heartbroken. Oh, there's one more actually. I was rejected for one job. I don't want to mention where and how, because I know the people very well. Because I'm too much of a nice guy, and they thought that it needs some badass person. I'm too much of a nice guy.
Hmm.
I didn't know how to live with that tag of nice guy.
What and what's happened there?
Well, I mean, nothing happened. I mean, it didn't work out. I mean, it doesn't, like, you look for the next option. You look for a plan B.
But which questions do they ask you? Yeah, normally, or did they ask you during the interview?
I think the most of the questions start with, tell us something about yourself. Why do you want to do this job? What's in this job that appeal to you? And yeah, what are your strengths and weaknesses? What you like and what you don't like? That kind of questions a lot.
And how long does it take?
It really depends. Generally within an hour.
Before an hour. Okay. Yeah. So you were also lucky that you were invited to the interview because first you need to send a letter and your resume.
I mean, it really depends on how you do it. I mean, I knew these people. They discussed, and there was a position that was needed, and people knew me, and they were like, "Okay, I think that I know a guy who will fit in," and they
Ah,
contact.
okay. Okay.
It really
So,
depends on how on the situation.
hmm, okay. You're lucky again, I guess.
No, I wouldn't say that actually. I think one something I mentioned in my book, networking and connecting with a lot of people, is a plan B, because that helps you. Like I said,
Hmm.
recall you, remember you, and even reward you at times when you need it the most. And that's what happens. And I did establish good relationship within the bank and other places, which helped me get these kind of opportunities. So it was not given to me on a silver platter. I had already
Hmm.
built that trust and relationship. So I do think still I'm lucky, but I also do think that fortune favors the brave.
But you knew that it would work like this, or in India you are doing things this way. So
Yeah, I think everywhere. I think networking is a very, very important, necessary skill. I did a Tedx talk on networking. That's on YouTube. You can look it up.
wow, yeah.
I do think it's the most essential skill to have in today's time.
Hmm. Yeah, I think you're right. And do
And most importantly, it's not what you know, it's not who you know, it's more is who knows you and what they think about you.
yeah, very clever. Yeah. And do you ever feel judged?
For
Judged here maybe for something you get used to do in India, but Dutch people just do
for
it
my background, for my background.
for your background. Yeah. Or
See, the thing is, there is going to be always some degree of prejudice. There is that, I mean, it's not just about being an Indian. There is prejudice again. I mean, about people who from Spain or I don't know, from anywhere in the world who comes, even from Belgium, there we have a little bit of an opinion. Everybody has that. I mean, as long as I think even I have that, you have that. I mean, we all have an opinion about a group. And when a person comes out of that group, you think of that person in that same light. However, I think it's important to be flexible. When you meet somebody and the person is different or stand out, you give them that benefit. Like for example, when my team and my people I work with, whether work or socially or privately, got to know me, what kind of punctual person I am, nobody takes it for granted and comes late because I'm an Indian. They now value me for my skill, my ability to be on time and respect time. So if I'm very honest, I see some degree of prejudice every now and then. I mean, you walk on the streets, you do see something, that things happen. But if I do not take the airports and airport conversation into consideration, I don't think there was a lot of judgment that I faced.
yeah, because then the people get to know you, then you're just nice person, and then all the prejudice go away. Yeah, nice to hear that. And now I would like to ask you a couple of questions about the language. So why is it so important to learn a new language quickly?
Because it you get more, I think, opportunities, easier to integrate, and you also feel local much faster.
And what are the three most important things to you in how to learn a new language?
See, I'm not a big expert in learning language, so I'm also trying to figure it out. But I
Mm.
think the most important thing is to talk to locals, because you really get their more, like, first you make baby sentences, but when you talk to locals, you also get the idioms, the way of expressing, the context in which they are addressing a topic. So I think you will get that, that feeling, and that's an important one. I think that's step one. Um, I mean, my friend Cora gave me a comic book, a children's book to read when I was doing my Burgering exam, because it's a really easy way to learn the language. So that's definitely helps. Children's comic book, and yeah, watch TV shows with in that language. It helps, I think.
Hmm. Okay. And tell me about a time when you've been satisfied or energized and productive at learning. And what
Language.
were you doing?
I think. Mm, what was I doing? And when I feel energized about learning Dutch, I think I was probably just practicing for the exams, and I could get the grammars right, and I was making sentences, and I could hold a conversation. It's a feeling of accomplishment. I think that's a great feeling.
Hmm. But how did you learn that? Did you learn it yourself or did you go to school?
I went to school. I went to
I,
a couple of schools. Yeah.
at the university, some course or
No, more the Dutch courses that are available in the market. I also did courses through my company. I did courses through also for the Inburgering exam. But I think
it,
the most help
yeah,
was
it
talking to.
was it was individual or in group?
I did a couple of individual, and I did mostly in group.
And how long did it take for you to learn Dutch?
I'm not super proficient in Dutch, but to clear the exam and reach the A2 level, I think it took me 6 months, six
Six
months, 1 year. But
six
after
months.
like living here for 5 years, so already I'd built a lot of language understanding.
Yeah, sure. And but how would you like to study Dutch now with your experience? What?
Um, See, the thing is, I do understand work related Dutch. So when people talk about work, because that's conversations I hear a lot. But the tough is one the lunchtime chat talks, when it can drift from football to, I don't know, to the issue at Suez Canal, and I don't always get the connection. That is tough. How would I like to learn? I think I will prefer to learn on the go and in a group, because that's more fun, and you also
Online group, yeah. And then you like to study grammar, for example, or would you like to
Yeah.
read text and translate, or
I don't
what's?
know. I love to learn the grammar and also the learn new words, new expressions. I love learning idioms. That is something I really enjoy.
And how do you find actually the right course and the nice teacher if you want to learn a language?
I think I do ask people who have done courses like that their recommendation, and
Hmm.
most people recommend whether the course they did, whether they like it or not.
Yeah, yeah. And how do you determine the which amount of time is reasonable for learning a new language?
Ooh, really depends. I mean, when before my Dutch exam, I was studying pretty hard, at least 1 or 2 hours a day. But
Hmm.
it really depends on what is going on in my life at that point of time, other priorities, what's the goal, what's the target. Really depends.
Hmm.
It's been a while since I've been really actively learning Dutch. Since the exam, I didn't do it, so that was 2018. So I don't I don't have the number for you right now.
No, but it's good. You say it was 2 hours a day, so in the times, and it's a good indication. And how do you feel about learning a new language online via Zoom or Skype or Teams? How is it now?
Not my favorite mode, if I'm honest, because I'm a lot on calls in the whole day because I'm one call after the other. I'm jumping from calls to calls. So when I'm done from work, I just don't feel like looking at the screen anymore.
I understand. Yeah. And what is the biggest challenge when it comes to learning Dutch?
I think if you do not have a lot of local friends, then it's a struggle because everybody just speaks English. If you do have a lot of local friends, they also want to be helpful and kind, so they switch to English really fast. I think that's definitely a factor, but I think the real challenge is intrinsic. If you feel motivated to do it, you will do it.
Hmm.
You'll find a way. I mean, I have not been the most motivated, but I
Yeah.
know people who came much after me, has spent much less time in Netherlands than me, are fluent in Dutch, can talk like a local. It really, the motivation is definitely intrinsic. You can name any excuse, any behavior. It's end of the day you.
Hmm. Yeah. And what's the most interesting thing about you? What's not mentioned before? I mean, tell me something unique about you. It's a difficult question, but
I am thinking. What is
yeah, just
something
take
I
your time.
something I like to cook. I'm a decent cook. I really enjoy cooking, and I think I've cooked for at least 30 nationalities in my lifetime.
Wow.
And everybody who comes to eats at mine first says, "Yeah, don't make it spicy because I can't stand spicy." But of course, gradually I increase the spice level, and then they are like, I was like eating green chilies at a friend's house, and they were shocked. How can you handle spicy? So, um, I'm the spice integrator for a lot of Dutch people.
Yeah. And what is your next goal in life and in job? And
Ah, I'm creating an online course on storytelling, how to use storytelling to sell a product. I think that's something I'm really pushing hard to finish it as soon as possible. It's taking a while, but that's something I want to finish in April.
you can already very well telling the stories, I think.
Well, I have recorded it. It's now more the logistics of it to upload it and then write some documents on it and everything. So it's not the fun part is done, which is the shooting and creating the course. Now the boring stuff of really uploading, video editing, and all this stuff,
Hmm.
which are not my core skills.
But what it will be a video about
It will be a
some.
video course on Teachable.
It will be video course on Teachables. And what will you tell about this video course? What will you learn? What will you teach?
How to use storytelling techniques to sell your product. So if you have a product, an idea, how to pitch it without sounding salesy or too pushy or too naive. You do it in a palpable method with a story. That's it's gonna be about that.
Nice idea. I think you have a market for this. I'm interested too.
You are on my newsletter, so you will be notified when it.
Oh, good, good. And so I can tell you, if you know somebody who struggles with language, so I will be happy to help.
Yeah.
And enjoy your journey.
Thank
And
you. You
just
too.
go for it, and believe in you in yourself, because yeah, you're a nice guy and lucky guy, but you
Well,
have
I
to believe
really
in
admire your spirit. I think it's very nice of you to reach out and make this session happen. And I love your energy as well. I think you're really a go-getter from the word. I can see it in your energy. So who knows? Maybe we'll collaborate in future. But whenever you need me, and if I'll keep your words in mind as well about language struggle, and we can do something together as well.
you. Yeah, it's nice, it's nice. Thank you very much.
My pleasure. Well, have a great day and enjoy the sun till it's shining.
So thank you.